welcome to Set Crochet. My name is Helen and I work in a small wool shop in Northumberland, England, and have spent the last 5 years teaching crochet. This is a crochet course for complete beginners. Hope you enjoy it. The first thing we need to do is create a slip loop on the hook. Some people do this automatically without thinking about it. If you've been knitting for a number of years, you probably start your knitting with a slip loop. However, if you haven't, you might want to watch this little tutorial on how to put a slip loop on your hook. We'll refer to this part of the yarn as the tail end and this part of the yarn that's attached to the ball as the ball end. What you need to do is to place the tail end over the ball end, creating a loop. We're then going to flip the loop over the top of the ball end, creating a circle with a line up the middle. The line up the middle is the part that you pick up with your hook and tighten onto your hook. It creates a loop which can be made tighter or looser. You've then got your loop on your hook. You have your tail end and your end that's attached to your ball. In crochet, if you're right-handed, your ball goes at your left-hand side, which is the opposite way to knitting. If you're left-handed and you hold your hook in your left hand, your ball will then go to your right hand. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use a right-handed hold. Your hook is held in your right hand, and there are a number of ways to hold it. You can hold with your hand over the top of the hook or your hand underneath the hook. The easiest way for beginners who haven't crocheted at all is to hold with the hand over the top of the hook. And we're now going to put the tail end in our hand to keep it out of the way against the hook while we put the ball end around the other hand. This is called the hold of the crochet, and if people are going to become confused, this is often the point that they become confused. You need to hold your left hand palm up towards your face with your fingers spread. You're going to take your hook with the tail held against your hand, and you're going to start at the front of your hand and make a complete loop around your little finger to the back of your hand. You're then going to bring the yarn up behind the other fingers and come over between your pointing finger and your thumb. The little finger and the ring finger curl. This anchors the yarn in your fingers. You're then going to drop the tail while maintaining the hold on the hook, and you're going to use your middle and thumb to hold the tail of the yarn just under the knot. Your pointing finger on your left hand sticks up in the air, and the tension is maintained on the hook by the yarn at this point. Occasionally, people who have been taught to crochet as a child and have some memory of how to hold yarn in a crochet hook will possibly have been taught to hold it with a pointing finger and a thumb and a middle finger up in the air. Either of these holds is fine. All you need to ensure is that there is tension in the yarn between the hook and your finger, and that your little finger and your ring finger remain tight in your hand. You should be able to pull the wool through your fingers, but it should require some force to actually pull it. There should be movement, but not free movement of the yarn. When you have your wool around your hand, we're ready to start. And the first stitch that we're going to learn is the chain stitch. This is the most basic of all of the crochet stitches and is the foundation for all other stitches. It's usually the first thing that's written on a crochet pattern. You will be told how many chain stitches to make. So holding your hook in your right hand, you're going to hold your hook as though it's up to number 12 on a clock, and your yarn comes out at number 11. So 12 o'clock hook, 11 o'clock yarn. You're going to move your hook backwards in a reverse action, like a clock going backwards, and you're going to come over the top of that yarn, twist underneath the yarn with the hook, catch the yarn with the end of the hook and pull it down through the loop that's already there, pulling gently with your thumb and your middle finger to create a space for the hook to come through. If you've done that, you've just created your first chain stitch. Congratulations and welcome to crochet. All you need to do now is to continue to repeat the movement. Remember, clock going backwards, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, hook underneath the yarn, bring it back down through the loop on the hook, continue to create a little row of chain. You'll notice that my fingers are moving away from the hook. As the chain grows longer, your fingers move away. In order to maintain control, you need to, after about 5 or 6 stitches, put your pointing finger of your right hand onto that loop to hold it steady and move those fingers and thumb back up to grasp again underneath. Pointing finger off and back to creating more stitches. If you look at the stitches that you've created so far, the chain stitches have a front and a back. If you run your finger down the stitches, you'll notice that one side is smooth and one side is bumpy. The bumpy side is the back of the stitch. The smooth side is the front of the stitch. Every stitch has 3 parts. It has a V on the front and it has a bump on the back. So the back of your work is a series of little bumps that look like the back of the Loch Ness Monster coming out of the water. The front of the stitch is a row of V's that sit on top of each other, creating a row of arrows. If you've enjoyed this lesson, please like and subscribe, and look out for lesson 2 coming soon, where we'll learn to make the next 2 stitches in crochet.